Tony D and Guest Dog, and this is a screenwriter's rant on Daliland, a movie about the famous artist Salvador Dali, played by Ben Kingsley. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 11 available at Amazon.com. Don't forget Kindle Unlimited is free. His assistant, by the way, was James Lipton. Lipton. And this is a true story of the crazy artist and his crazy times. This is at the peak, I guess, of his fame in the 70s, when rock stars would party with him and he'd go to all these crazy parties. But at the same time, he was struggling behind the scenes with his relationship and trying to make enough money to maintain his fabulous lifestyle. So it's all about that. And I think his final days, perhaps, with his distinctive mustache and craziness. And then there's flashbacks. Ezra Miller plays a young Salvador Dali. Ben Kingsley plays the older one. I think, who through most of the movie. So, from the producer and director of American Psycho. American Psycho, they always say, is a great adaptation of a terrible book. I think American Psycho is an interesting movie. There's Ezra. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to want to see this movie because Ezra's in it, but I don't think it's... I think he's just in a few flashbacks, so he's not in a lot of it. I don't know. But this is going to be one of these critically acclaimed movies. And I think it looks good. Introducing Christopher Brahney. Ben Kingsley is a really good actor. I mean, he's really good. So, it's the life and times of Salvador Dali. Let's see. Let's get to the credits there. There, Daliland. It's called. Who wrote this thing? Oh man, tough to read these credits. Okay, that's easier. They never put them in the same order. And sometimes they. Oh yeah, it says with Suki Waterhouse and Ezra Miller. So he's not in it that much. Essentially an extended cameo. Directed by Mary Harron. Okay. Oh, there we go. Written by John C. Walsh. Okay. So that's the credits we always try to check out. I think it'll be good. I don't mind. Suki's looking good. I don't mind seeing this, even though Ezra's in it. There's Salvador getting ready. Because and this is his wife and their tumultuous relationship, because he's only in it a little bit, and I think Ben Kingsley really just knocks it out of the park, and it's an interesting biopic. Dali was a crazy guy, so I'd be interested in learning more. Again, they're going to dramatize this, probably more than it was, but that's okay. Look, there's a lot of drama in everybody's life, especially artists. They tend to be volatile. Although you could say that's a trope. Maybe some of them are not. I would like to see one biopic about a famous person where there wasn't all that much drama. It was more like fun, right? He just had a lot of fun. It never seemed to really get all that dramatic about anything. Even when he died, he kind of made a funny line and just went out. Like, that would be kind of a cool biopic. I'm sure someone like that exists somewhere. Maybe it's me. Anyhow, first act, I don't think it's a rise and fall, necessarily. I think it mostly concentrates on the current day Dali in the 70s. And he's got to get a new assistant. And so they hire this kid, James Lipton, to be his assistant and try to keep him focused. And he he goes in there and it's just nuts. There's parties and distractions, and Dolly's never doing the work he should be doing, and so he tries to help him, and Dolly basically tricks him because he can run circles around the kid. And then, second act, he starts to see the cracks, right? He starts to see that Dolly's relationship is a bit tumultuous. They're constantly fighting. He's not sure if maybe it's his wife that's messing things up or whatever. Maybe you get that impression in the beginning, but really, he says at one point in the movie, you know, she pushed me. She pushed me in a good way, like pushed me into doing more. And then he gets to know them better, and then he begins to understand his crazy creative process and why he ended up this way. And there's a couple flashbacks, and but ultimately we see that things are kind of grinding down for him. You know, his heydays are kind of over, because that's what happens to artists. Like, they do their best work, and then they become famous for it, and then because you're sort of in a mental space, the way you're living your life, struggling to do the art. And I wrote about this in a screenplay once. It was about a stand-up comic who could only be funny when he was mad. And so his life was kind of frustrating, and then he would go on stage and he'd get all frustrated, and he would be like a Lewis Black type comedian. And he was funny. But then he gets success and his life is no longer frustrating. And so he can't really do the comedy anymore. And so it's kind of like that with a lot of artists, that they struggle and they live these crazy lives, and then they get famous, and then they've got all this money and responsibility, and it changes them because they can't live like they lived before, and it kind of messes everything up. So I'm seeing that in this. So, you know, I think it'll be good, and then I guess probably the death or credit roll, like what happened to James Lipton and the real people and all that kind of stuff. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun. It's kind of like rock star kind of story, because Dolly was kind of a rock star of the art world, kind of like Andy Warhol and similar. I wonder if he'll make an appearance. I don't know if they ever met. I assume they did. Anyhow, I would see this. Let's see if there's a write-up here. In 1973, a young gallery assistant goes on a wild adventure behind the scenes and helps the aging genius Salvador Dali prepare for a big show in New York. Oh, so maybe it's just around a particular event, but during that you see more about Dali's life. Yeah, I'd see this. This is going to be an IFC or limited art house release, and then it'll be on VOD. I would totally... This is a good date movie for me. It feels like intellectual, you know. It feels smart going to see a movie about someone who was smart and respected in the art world. But he was a bit nutty. But his art was kind of cool, if you haven't seen it. Anyhow, that's it for me. Tony D and guest dog, Truffle, who was very bad. I'll tell you, got me up 5 times last night. I'm completely fried, and I got to go to this Geek Fest and do my talk, Truffle. I have to do my talk. That's why she's up there in the bag, because she wouldn't listen to me, wouldn't get up on the seat, so I put her up there. Because you owe me cuteness after last night. You owe me cuteness for the videos. I will have your cuteness, dog. All right. The live stream is tonight, and I'm going to be drinking a lot of caffeine, so I'll be up for it by the time we gear up to 7 o'clock. So please tune in for that. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one.